Champions Cup week number 2, folks. Bulls send a beat them Lyon and almost get the job done. It's a 1-point game, 29 points to 28, 5 tries to 3. We'll go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. But action-packed game, some wonder tries, some missed kicks, and maybe a little bit of referee controversy. But Mike Adamson was the ref, so that kind of goes without saying. But yeah, got up at 6:30 to watch this one, so not real stupid o'clock because the sun was up here in NZ, but treated to a bit of a ding-dong battle. Bulls get themselves on the board early, 10-0 lead after 10 minutes. Zach Berger gets the first from Takir Abraham's kick that got charged down. Bulls winning a bit of aerial ball, and then when Liam Coltman gave away a penalty for a high shot, 10 points to 0. Quick hands from the Bulls in the build-up, like pretty ideal start away from home, and as I said, sending a much-changed lineup up to France, but 10-0. But then Lyon did start to kind of warm up, I guess, a bit. The Bulls, conceding a bit of breakdown penalty pressure. Lyon ended up getting held up after going for a tap move. Taufa got held up, but yeah, at least they'd started to wake up because they didn't seem to be at the races in the first kind of 10 minutes. But the Bulls, I mean, they still wanted to play some enterprising rugby, which was pleasing because it was kind of hard to know what performance level they would come out with. One, away from home, because the Bulls aren't the best team for travelling, and then just with the amount of changes they made, but like a scrum move, Zach Berger looks like he's going to go right, he goes left, he gets it to Mapo, he gets it to Peterson, it's a big old line break, so yeah, pretty enterprising stuff, even if nothing kind of came of it. But speaking of enterprising, Lyon are a fun team to watch. I think it must be the first time I've seen them this Champions Cup season, and I don't watch the top 14 because it's not broadcast here, but I can see why people always tell me to watch it, man. Fletcher Smith, cross kick to Dumortier, pretty bloody sweet stuff. That's the first try of the game for Lyon, and 10 points to 7. With Lyon getting to do the kickoff because the Bulls conceded a penalty for kind of a charge after the try had been scored, trying to stop Dumortier from getting the ball down. So 10 points to 7, 3-point lead. Lyon can't really do much with the kind of restart penalty, but the Bulls have also got a kind of wonder try in the bank, which was pretty pleasing. That guy, Gumede, I think this is the first time I've seen him play. He seems like a bit of a right man. 27 minutes. Like, they get some field position from a high tackle from the Lyon guys. And it's Peterson who finishes it. But it's Berger, I think, who gets it to Gumede. Like, a wonder offload from the touchline. Unbelievable stuff. How did he keep him contort his body to stay in and still manage to find his man? Misconversion, but 15 points to 7. You've already kind of got your value for money with some of the tries you've been seeing scored. Trends you're noticing is Lyon absolutely trying to flood the breakdown from high balls, and the Bulls are kind of quite happy to pepper each wing with kicks as well, kind of kick passes. So yeah, like fun, genuinely fun game to watch. Lyon a bit guilty of some penalties. The breakdown, 2 on the bounce sees the Bulls a chance to slot a penalty, which they do. 18 points to 7. But then another good try, and it's this man Pacheco, who I don't think I knew much about before this game. But again, like the great offload game going. You got Monty Ioane involved, Abrams involved, carries from the props, and then final wide ball. 12 points to 18 is the halftime score. The Bulls have had 59% possession, but the Lyon boys have kind of edged the territory. So yeah, it's an interesting first half with this away Bulls side leading, but only by 6 points. But then Bulls start the second half with a penalty. Lyon penalised for infringing at line-out time, so 21 points to 12. But then, as the kind of tit-for-tat nature of the game continues, that guy Parisian is able to get one on the right wing. Abrahams with the line break. I think he went round Immelman like pretty effortlessly. He probably should have set up the try directly, but he kind of blew it, but still got them some great go-for ball. Next run of phases, Godwin's able to put the final pass through for Parisian. So 21 points to 17. Back to striking distance for Lyon. Bulls conceded a penalty at line-out time, gives Lyon a chance, but then that man Gumede again, with a breakdown turnover this time, was able to get his team out of jail. But Lyon still get the next try of the game. This guy, Jacques Osset, the reserve hooker, he seems like a bit of a flamboyant player, man. Trick line-out move, which they've been trying a couple of times, I think, up until this point. Lyon sees Chakosay go over. He kind of jumps over the try line. And interestingly, that kind of line-out field position came from Immelman, giving away like a tackling in the air penalty on Ioane, which I always find kind of tough when guys they just jump up kind of into the tackle. I don't know. It didn't look great, but anytime a guy jumps up just to catch a pass and ends up getting tackled, it kind of makes me wonder why guys just can't jump their way up the field and get penalties. Because I know penalties can be given for dangerous play if you jump into a tackle, but I feel like you see guys penalised more for tackling a guy in the air than you do for guys jumping into a tackle, just personally. But anyway, so 24 points to 21. That's the bonus point, and that's the Lyon lead. But then the Bulls win a penalty from the restart. Great chance for them to kind of hit immediately back, but they totally mucked the line out. And the Bulls line out, along with a few missed goal kicks, is certainly one of the areas where they'll look back and think, man, we could have won this game. That was a golden opportunity. But they did get a chance a few minutes later. Lyon guilty of collapsing a couple of mauls. The Bulls opt for a tap and go from close range, and that man Van Staden is able to go over in the corner, and it's a great conversion from Chris Smith. So 28 points to 24. Bulls regain the lead with basically 10 minutes to play. But then Lyon retake the lead themselves. My notes are just, goodness gracious me. Offload to the hooker. Again, it's that man Chakosay with another clean break. He had gone close, and then wide ball to Regal is able to go over on 72 minutes. So 1 point ball game, 29-28. Less than 10 minutes to play. Can the Bulls regain the lead, Mark? Regain and retain are different words. They had a great chance, man. 74 minutes. Lyon not only get a penalty conceded, but a yellow card warning for too many penalties. Lombe in particular gets singled out. The Bulls, they got a chance. You can either turn the screws and opt for some field position kick for the corner, try to get that maul to be collapsed again, get a penalty try, get them yellow carded. But they take the kind of conservative option, which you don't blame them for. They go for the 3, but remember Chris Smith's gone off. Van der Vault has to opt for the shot. He misses it wide. That's their chance to win the game. Gone a begging. And then a little bit of controversy at the death, because as the Bulls are trying to track their way upfield, Lombe kind of jumps over a ruck to interfere with the Bulls as they're clearing the ball out of the back of a ruck, and he kind of slaps the ball, but he's ruled to have swept it towards his own line, so it's not a deliberate knock on. So that essentially gives Lyon the ball, and then they get a breakdown penalty. But they went to the TMO to see if he needed to reverse it, but they said that because he swept it towards its own line, it was all right. I thought you can't knock the ball out of the halfback's hands, but I don't know. I'm not an aficionado of reading the rugby laws, so I'll kind of acquiesce to the officiating team. They know more about the game than myself, but I don't know. It just seemed like a bit of a controversial end anyway. So, yeah, man. Bulls maybe a little bit aggrieved because there was another high tackle earlier on Van Staden, which you were like, maybe they could have a look at that, but they didn't even card it. So, yeah. Oh, well. 1 point away from a victory. Lyon played some bloody exciting rugby. They scored 5 tries to 3, which usually tells you that they're deserving winners. The Bulls sent their B team, got a losing bonus point. I think they'll still be pretty pleased with how things went, given how close they got, but it's going to burn to lose the game with the death, I guess. Possession finishes 47-53 to the Bulls, so Lyon edged the possession in the second half, 53%. Territory finishes 54-46 also to the Bulls. Run meters 495 to 456 to the Bulls. But Lyon's tackling was a bit better because they were in the 90s, I think, for the tackle percentage. They made 30 defenders beaten compared to the Bulls only 16. They had 8 clean breaks to the Bulls 6. That man Chakosay, the reserve hooker, had 2 of those clean breaks. Peterson had 3 clean breaks for the Bulls and 5 defenders beaten. Zakia Abrahams had 5 defenders beaten for Lyon. Pacheco had 25 tackles and that try. He's a heck of a player. Marcel Coetzee had 14. Penalty count finishes 10-8 with Lyon conceding 2 more, which is not actually that high. It's a relatively low penalty count, but there you go, folks. Interesting game. Never knew which way it was going to go. Good way to start my day. Coffee and some rugby. Bulls are away to Bristol in the new year when the Champions Cup gets back underway, and Lyon are home to Connacht. You guys take care and talk to you again soon.